Maybe it's time to upgrade my record player. It's been a few decades. Yeah. So come with me. Come with me. I'm going to trip over something. But howdy, folks. TJ here. What are we going to do today? We're going to chat about, finally, after many decades, it's time for me to upgrade to a turntable that can play not only 78 RPM records like that old witch's hat turntable record player over there, but stuff that's a little bit more modern, like a 33 or a 45. So hold tight. Let's chat about another rabbit hole that you can join me on, an adventure on, turntables and records. Well, I finally went ahead and did it. I purchased a new turntable after many decades. And I thought any video worth its weight in salt, sugar, weight in something, you need to go back in time a little bit and chat about where you came from in terms of record players and all that sorts of stuff. So I'm nearing 60 soon, and my very first turntable, I don't remember the brand. It was in the 1970s. It was a little white and black number with a little lid that kind of looked like this, but it had an AM, FM radio dial on the front and played records. I remember sticking dimes and pennies on top of the stylus to hold it down because it was bouncing all around. I wish I remembered the name of it because it was my first, and I played the hell out of that thing. I played my records, and in the 1970s, record would typically mean something like Kiss, for example. You know the group Kiss? If you don't, you're a youngster and you need to go back in time and look at some of where music came from. Now, obviously, music's been around much longer than that. The older timers are going, no, you got to go with the Percy Faith band or whatever. Percy Faith? Yeah, I think it's a Percy something. Anyway, my parents would know. So it's time. So I went in the 70s from that. And then in the 1980s, when I started getting into cars and music even more, I purchased my very first real stereo system. Most of it was Kenwood related, but in terms of the turntable, which is what we're kind of chatting about today, a rabbit hole that many of you probably have been through. If you don't know what a rabbit hole is, Google it. I've got a number of rabbit holes going on in my life, but a Technic's turntable that was very unique, and I actually saved it. Does it work? No idea. It's stuck inside of a understairs space with a lot of stuff in front of it. I held on to it all this time. Guarantee if there's a rubber belt in it, it's beat and trashed. So it would probably need some basic repairs. But it was a turntable that you could select what track. You would close the lid down on the record. I want to listen to track 3. And you hit the number 3 and it would scan over and do track number 3. How cool. And I saved it. It's probably not in the greatest of condition. I remember, these lids up here? I guarantee one of my brother's friends had some type of smoky tobokey, and he put some type of heat element on top of it because there's like a piece of plastic that's melted. You do the math. They were doing something. But that was my second one, and I actually, believe it or not, saved it. When I got rid of all of my awesome computers, my Ataris and everything, somehow I decided to save my Kenwood receiver and my Technics turntable. Everything else became sold. It was too big. I didn't want it anymore, whatever. Then my wife and I purchased that Victor talking machine over there a while back at an antique store. And believe it or not, it does work. We have some old 78 RPM records, a few Christmas ones that are kind of fun to listen to. That's more of an antique looking pretty in the house kind of thing. But it's rather cool. And that sits over there on our table where I throw all my keys and we have some pictures and stuff. Then after that, I purchased my wife about 10 or 15 years ago a Ion turntable that could record to, I think, via USB. By the way, my clock's going to chime. I like a lot of old stuff. That's why you see that Victor talking machine over there. Our house is very antique. Anyway, Ion, one for her Christmas present. We never used it. And then a number of, late last year, I tried to use it for the first time. Rubber belt was broken, replaced it, and it still didn't work right. It was working, but a 33 RPM was playing at about 49 RPM. And then when you put it up to 45 RPM, it played at like 70 something. It was screaming fast. And I figured I screwed something up, or just something else electronically was bad with it. So I couldn't play. I wanted to play some records. My wife and I started bringing out our records, something we also saved, believe it or not. We saved all of our high school and pre that records, some 45s, a lot of 33s, and saved those, believe it or not. And we started, well, we want to play some. And I couldn't do it on the Ion, so I go, let's explore modern turntables. I didn't want to go with a super cheap turntable. I didn't want to go with something that's super thousands of dollars either. I wanted something, though, that was fairly decent, and Audio Technica popped up, and the design of it is very sleek looking. I fell in love with the design. It's got a lot of features. This one plays 33, 45, and 78. It's one of those direct drive, so there's no belt. So you can actually, if I wanted to waka, 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 which I don't, but I think that's an option on these, or I could be wrong. Is this direct drive? Belt? No, I don't think there's a belt in this one. Or is there a belt in this one? I've already forgot. See, I'm going to have to do some research. By the way, the model of it, is this one? I'm pretty sure this one's a direct drive. But anyway, there's some that have belts and some that do direct drive. For some reason, I think this is a direct drive, but don't hold me on that. I'll figure it out later. But this is an Audio Technica AT-LP120XBT-USB. What does all that mean? The BT means Bluetooth. I can connect to Bluetooth speakers, which is what I'm presently doing. It also has USB ports, so if I want to record some funky album, digital, well, record it off of this in an analog form, and then have it be able to put it as a, save it onto my computer and play it from there. We have that option, which is cool. It's got some adjustments for adjusting the arm where the weight is properly distributed so the arm doesn't go woo or woo. It kind of holds steady until you drop her down. It's got a pretty decent stylus on here that's replaceable with other type that maybe as time goes on, I'll like to expand my horizons and learn about that more. It's got some other levers and stuff over here that you can tweak the, I forgot what they call it. Is there a name over here? I don't see what the name is, but you can go plus or minus percentages on something. Was it the, maybe minor adjustments on speed or something? I'm not sure. I'll have to adjust. This is not a in-depth on this. This is just a general overview of I went from this to this to this, and this is what I decided on. It was about a $399 retail model. So it's not a low grade, it's not a high grade, it's kind of like in the middle. And I think for somebody like me, perfect to explore. And if I really fall in love with playing records again, maybe I'll upgrade to something higher end later. It can play 45s, which is cool. There's a little 45 adapter out back here. In fact, I played a 45. My wife and I played a number of albums recently. And I thought a part of this fun video would, it's going to be long, but I'm going to flip through. I'm going to get all my records out and put them someplace. And we're going to do a quick flip through of what I saved and what I had. TJ's records from back in the day. And some of you will probably appreciate some of the bands that you will see. And we'll chat about it maybe a little bit. But this is what I decided on. It's got a nice cover. And it's got some fun adjustability of it. There's some lighting features that you can tinker with. So it is, in my opinion, neato. Is it super high-end? No. But I'm going to expand on this. After this, I'm going to buy some actual decent-size speakers for it. And I think maybe for the first time, I'll actually explore, even though this has a preamp, maybe getting a nice amplifier, a tube-style amplifier. For some reason, that's a rabbit hole I'm also exploring. Talking about rabbit holes, over here I've got, I think I'm up to 13 to 1,400 laser discs. You know what a Laserdisc is? It's about the size of a record, but it plays movies. It's pre-DVD. And so, yeah, I like old stuff, and I like using old stuff. And records from back in the day are going to be super fun to play on my newer, wouldn't play over there on the Victor Talking machine, but I'm going to play them over here. And my wife and I have already started enjoying that. I think this is a step up from those super cheapy ones that you can find. And it's nowhere as high grade as some of the super expensive ones. But I think for a common bloke like me, it's worth it. I actually purchased the one, if you like Audio Technica, if you keep an eye on their website, they have a refurbished area. And it changes every day. And that refurbished unit is like new. They probably got it back, some return that somebody said there was a problem with it, or really there wasn't a problem, they just didn't want it anymore. And they cleaned it up, they repack it, sell it as a refurb with the same warranty, and I got it a lot cheaper. So instead of $399, I ended up buying this for $275. That's a pretty dang good savings. And so far, so good. It's been working perfectly, and it seemed like brand new when it arrived. Anyway, they said that you could see little scratches and divots and stuff like that, but on mine, I didn't notice anything. Maybe this top cover has a little bit, but these top covers scratch with a fly landing on them, so I'm not too worried about that. But anyway, it looks gorgeous. It plays really nicely. Today, I'm only able to play through my Bluetooth speakers because that's what I have, but it does that pretty well. We're playing some wonderful music in the house, and what drives us more than music? Well, food. I like food, and a little nookie. Nookie's always good. But music makes the world go around, and having something like this to enjoy music. Can you play it easier on your computer or on your iPhone or Android phone? Sure, but there's a certain ambiance, a certain addiction to being able to bring out an old album, pull it out, read stuff that's on there, good old-fashioned paper and cardboard, and be able to sit and read and listen instead of being on a freaking digital phone all the time. I'm a little bit Amish, to tell you the truth. I'd like to say screw power, other than the power to power this. I want to enjoy just some simple, fun audio, music on a Sunday morning. Sundays are wonderful for playing music. You wake up, you make yourself a pancake breakfast, you come out and sit on the sofa. What am I going to do before I have to go back to work Monday? Let's make it a kickback day. And that kickback day means listen to music, do nothing else, just tinker, have fun. And I love music. My wife loves music. So I think this is something that also, as a couple of 35 years now, married, together even more than that, 38 years now I've been together with this lady, I think. Anyway, yeah, a long time. But having a common thing, most of us men and women have, we like this, you like that, and we kind of don't meet in the middle too much. We just do our own thing. But with music, I found that is maybe a way that we can, after 35 years together, have a common thing that we can go out on a trip. Let's let this phone stop ringing. Another nuisance in life, having phones ringing. I turn off all my cell phone type of things. I don't want to hear stuff, but we do get calls. Probably one of those crank calls. This is the tax department. We want to give you $1 million. Please call us back. That spam son of a bitch. I'd like to kick them right in the snagoogies. Anyway, husband, wife, this is a little way for us to find a common thing where we're out on vacation and there's a record store, and you go into this little record store and you find a record and you search things together and have fun together doing something in common. Sometimes you lose that after 35 years. So playing music together, maybe that's a little way to rekindle some of that old romance. So anyway, let me go grab all my albums. We'll find a place in here to put them. We'll do a little flip through of everything to show you, and then we'll call this video a wrap. If you want to learn more about this, Google it. I don't think I'm going to make any in-depth video about this specifically, but needless to say, it's got USB capability so I can record a record if I would like to. It's got Bluetooth so I can send it out to some other speakers in the house. It's got lots of adjustments and speed things that you can play with. It came with its own preamp, so I technically could just buy some powered speakers, run it out to there. So there's a lot of things I could do with this. and it looks gorgeous. So hold tight, let me go grab all the records, and we'll flip through them together. You know, it would be crazy if I brought out all my albums. So maybe what we'll do is make another video down the road where I'll get all my albums out and run them one by one so you can see. Because I don't have a huge collection, but enough to make the video way too long. And I've got some 45s. So I thought I'd grab just a few handfuls that we'll flip through, taking you chronologically kind of through when I was a youngster to now. So, Christmas with the Chipmunks. Come on, man. I love the Chipmunks. Who doesn't? And if you don't, something wrong with you. Chipmunks Christmas. Played the heck out of this. It takes you back to a wonderful time when I was with my brothers and parents and everybody was alive and we're enjoying Christmases together. This is a classic. And I thought I had volume 1. I don't know where that is, but maybe one day I'll find it and I'll have to buy it or something. This is old. Dennis Day Sings Christmas is for the family. Again, I'm a very Christmassy oriented kid. Dennis Day, you're going, what the hell's a Dennis Day? So yeah, I still have this, believe it or not. Halloween. I love Halloween. So I had a series of Halloween spooky things. Boris Karloff. Some Halloween at Home. And I'm going to itch my nose because I'm about to sneeze. Haunted House. My wife and I made haunted houses in the past when we had trick-or-treaters. No trick-or-treaters nowadays. I live out in the country on acres. If there's somebody trick-or-treating at that time, they're going to probably get shot. So best not do that. So I love Halloween, Halloween sounds, Halloween spooky stories. Elvis Presley, believe it or not, TJ, when I was a kid in the 1970s, my friend next door, we used to put on Elvis Presley shows. We got a 4x8 piece of plywood, made a little what do you call it? When you're going up and singing on a stage. We made a little stage out of plywood, and he and I would sing to Elvis tunes, Hunka Hunka. And believe it or not, yes, I loved Elvis, so I have Elvis Presley from back in the day. I mean, who doesn't love Kentucky Rain? Elvis Presley, come on, everybody. So I had a series of Elvis Presley albums, and I still have them. I'm so happy. At one time, I was a wee little lad touching these. Now I'm an old lad. Saturday Night Fever. Come on, everybody. Look at that. Look at how fun albums are. You can open them up to see all sorts of stuff. Digital. You can open it up on your screen, but what happens if the power goes out? At least here, well, if the power goes out, you can't necessarily play a record unless you got a little battery backup. But you can take out the album and look at and read stuff. You know, reading. You know what that is. So, Saturday Night Fever. My favorite favorite band. It's a tie between Boston, and I'll show you the next one. So I love Boston. Their first album sold like 17 point something million copies. But this is, in my opinion, the absolute from beginning to end best album ever, period. Sure, somebody else is going to like something else, but I absolutely love Boston. Their first 3 albums, wonderful. Their newer stuff, not so much, but I still love them as a band, which really, the band is Tom Schultz, and then, of course, Brad Delp. The pipes of Brad Delp are unmatched. And then the rest of the band, I dig Barry Goudreau, Sib Hashian. Some of these folks are no longer with us. 2 of them. Sib Hashian passed away, and Brad Delp passed away. But the other 3 are still alive, but not together doing music together. Tom Schultz pretty much is, at this point in time, Boston. Another Boston, and then another Boston, a picture disc, antique. Dun, 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 dun. This lets you know you're alive. Old sounds music like that. So I have picture discs. Barry Goudreau, he was one of the guitarists in Boston. He peeled off, and he had a number of albums. His original solo album, and then Orion the Hunter. If you like the Boston sound, You're going to love these two. And then I don't have an album, but RTZ came afterwards, has Brad Delp, Barry Goudreau. So if you like that Boston feel, check those out. Def Leppard is my second most favorite group. So Def Leppard in Boston. So I have all of back when they made LPs. So you got the original On Through the Night, High and Dry, and then, of course, Pyromania. Pyromania, my first concert I went to in 1980, whatever it was, 1983. And then after that, their biggest album really is Hysteria. Hysteria. And then, of course, I have some of their picture discs. I got this Def Leppard one here, and I've got another one here, and then another picture disc. This one is a picture disc of Hysteria. These plastic things don't weather too well, but it's also 40 years old or whatever. The Scorpions. Gotta love the Scorps. So I had a Scorpions. Rolling Stone. Now we're going into a little bit. Rolling Stones. The Cars. The Cars is probably in second place, right behind Def Leppard in Boston. Absolutely love the Cars. So I have a number of their albums. Candio is wonderful. One of my early albums as a kid, Love Gun, Kiss. Inside is an actual, mine's not complete, but inside of the Love Gun album, there is actually one of those little pop guns. There is a little piece of material that connected to here, and you would go, boop, and it would pop, make a little popping noise. So Kiss, one of my very early albums. This comes from the 1970s. Trying to see if there's a date back here on something. I'm not readily seeing it, but pretty sure I got this in the 1970s. Foreigner, gotta have a little Foreigner in there. Asia, I love me some Asia, so I've got a number of Asia. And then we move on to Styx. Gotta love Styx, Tommy Shaw. Of course, Dennis DeYoung. Some people like one over the other, but I like them both together in the band. Then we've got, of course, some AC/DC. I had a number of AC/DC. I mean, I had a 240Z Datsun 1972, driving down, cruising on a Friday night when cruising was a thing, blaring good old AC/DC. And so I had plenty of AC/DC to run. Then, of course, you got to have some Rush. Not many, everybody knows Rush, but not everybody knows Triumph. Triumph is awesome. And then we'll move to more modern days. I've been buying stuff. These kids, and I'm calling them kids, but they're young adults. The Lemon Twigs are young, 20-some-odd old, play music. What I like about them is they like music of old. Their music, and they're quite prolific in music, making their own. They're awesome. They both play all their instruments. They make their own albums. They're the D'Adrio brothers, and they're called the Lemon Twigs. And My Golden Years, if you haven't listened to that song, is got a very The Wonders, Tom Hanks movie, feel, vibe, 1960s, 70s, that kind of feel. So this is a new album I purchased, and we'll stop there. So thanks for watching my video. Long, I know, but I went from you probably don't see it, it's behind me, the Victor talking machine to the Audio Technica 120. And I'll come back and we'll do some tests down the road. Maybe we'll play little snippets of audio here and there. I haven't cleaned a record album for ages, so I'm going to be learning a whole bunch of stuff over and over and doing it again. Thanks for coming with me on this little journey. Hopefully you had a wonderful day and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.